CB and amateur radio have been known to be quite volatile in days gone by, and believe it or not, CB radio has led to murder. So join me today as we look back at a series of sinister stories from the world of CB radio.
Nobody's making a recording of this, but I'll tell you this, you're gonna be dead by Friday. Believe me.
A long-standing disagreement between two CBers in 1994 led a 66-year-old Pennsylvania man to open fire, killing one person and wounding another. Russell Hryhaw and David Brungard were talking on the radio when Marvin Ross, also known by the handle Brooklyn 99, broke in and started arguing with Hryhaw. Those monitoring the conversation said that Ross accused Hryhaw of theft and welfare fraud. Hryhaw suggested that they meet to iron out the matter and gave Brooklyn 99 his home address. The three met and the dispute escalated when Hryhaw demanded an apology from Ross. Ross responded by saying, "I don't want to hear your shit," and opened fire with a handgun, killing Hryhaw and wounding Brungard. Brungard, bleeding, was able to return to his car where he attempted to ram Ross's vehicle. At least one of the vehicles ran over Hryhaw's body as they fled. Ross was charged with first and third degree murder, and prosecutors were seeking the death penalty.
You haven't got the intelligence to fucking open your eyes on Friday, you dickhead. Go on, do it then, let's see you do it.
David Carroll was a long-haul North Carolina trucker whose marriage was falling apart. At 32, Carroll had just separated from his wife and 3 daughters. One day, he pulled his truck into the parking lot of a convenience store. Contemplating suicide, he took a gun from under the seat. Police, alerted by bystanders, arrived at the scene. Unable to get Carroll to accept a cell phone call, police negotiated with the trucker by CB. Carroll's wife and kids soon came to the scene, trying desperately to convince him to give up the gun. But as police and family members continued to work to try and defuse the situation, they were constantly harassed by passing truckers on nearby Interstate 40 who taunted Carroll, sneering that he didn't have the guts to pull the trigger. Carroll unfortunately did have the guts. He died at 1:25 p.m. after a 3-hour standoff.
No, you come out of my address, you'll be staring down the barrel of a gun. You'll be followed up by Thames Valley Police, because you'll be...
Dr. No is the CB handle of an American CB radio operator, but is also the nickname given to a serial killer who is thought to be responsible for the murders of at least 9 women and girls in Ohio between 1981 and 2004. For victims, he primarily chose sex workers working in parking lots and truck stops located alongside Interstate 71. According to some, a man using the name of Dr. No would solicit women over the CB radio to a location where they would soon be found dead. This led to the name Dr. No being used in correlation to the suspected serial killer in these crimes. Decades ago, it wasn't uncommon for prostitutes to use CB radio. The prostitutes worked off of the CB and it was all done anonymously. The prostitute would get on the radio and give her handle and a catchphrase that she'd developed as her trademark, and the trucker would answer back and say, "Yeah, this is the Blue Peterbilt in row 3, come and meet me." She'd then go to the truck and afterwards she'd use that trucker's CB to radio her next customer. If you'd like to hear more of these stories from the sinister side of CB radio, then let me know.